All right, hello everyone. I'm Storm Tracker 8 meteorologist Matt DiNardo. Good to be with you this morning for another edition of Weather University. I'm going to bring in my colleague Jacqueline Waters. Jacqueline, how are we doing this morning?
We're excited about the snowstorm.
We are excited about the snowstorm. So we just finished up 8 News at 9. And throughout the morning, as you know, Jackie, we are always looking at the different models. So when we come in, obviously the 18Z, which is the late evening models, have already come in. The 0Z is our main course of models. We start to get some 6Z coming in around 3Z, around 3 a.m., I should say. And you and I get to look at those. And they were a little bit all over the place. There were some that were inherently dry. There were some that were super wet. So you got to kind of, push things aside. Then throughout the morning, get to see the rest of the 6E, and it kind of looked okay. And, I had this forecast out there for 3 to 5 inches of snow, 5 to 7, Petersburg, Colonial Heights, south and east, 1 to 3 north. And I've been answering lots of questions this morning. By the way, we will take your questions throughout this live event here, whether on Facebook or YouTube. So if you're on those platforms, we're happy to talk to you. During 9 o'clock, just before and then throughout the show, the 12Z models start to come in. And you and I were looking at stuff, and I sent you a text because you were doing traffic in the Weather Command Center, and I was about to jump on the air for another weather hit, and I noticed the 3K NAM and 12K NAM just went super wet.
Yes.
And that's following the HRR, which went from 0.1 to 0.3. And so that was a substantial increase. So kind of a clue into, this might be getting a little wetter. Let's wait and see. The other two becoming super wet has a cause for concern. So I promised people that we would look at everything that has come in so far and make an update to the forecast. So without further ado, that is the new 8 News forecast, which is a substantial increase, Jacqueline.
Yes.
I'll let you talk for a second here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens with the weather. We look at all the new model runs that come out, and we update it with what we went to school for, and it is a big increase. And you can see now across the metro area, up towards pretty much all of the northern neck, you're in that zone is, we forgot to change the legend also.
That's okay. Yeah, we didn't change the
Pay attention to the numbers.
Right.
9 to 12 inches. That goes down to Lunenburg, Amelia, Nottoway County, down towards Lawrenceville. And that area earlier was really mainly in the 3 to 5. So very big increase with those snow totals.
Ginormous increase. Ginormous increase. And again, I am not one for doing that by any means. I am very methodical in the way that I do things. For those of you who have chatted with me, and Jacqueline, who works with me, knows this, I don't even look at the model snowfall stuff that people post out there. I look really at the QPF numbers. I look at what's happening aloft, what's happening in the temperature zones. I want to know what my ratio is. So for those that are asking, this is still a light, fluffy snow, 15 to 1 ratio. And with numbers of QPF that are approaching 1 inch of moisture, even if we got 80% of that, and I'm just going to back this out for a quick second here, that puts us in this 9 to 12 inch range that you see us calling for. So that is a substantial number for sure, just kind of reflattening that out there. You look north and west of Richmond, and we have 5 to 9. And the reason why I have I'm moving things around is because I want to be able to zoom in to answer some of your questions as to, what we're going to get. Louisa, Fredericksburg, Colonial Beach, Western Caroline County, you're in this white band, Northwestern Hanover County, Cartersville, Cumberland, 5 to 9 inches. That goes down through Farmville, back over to Appomattox, just outside of Lynchburg, over to Keysville. When we look at the purple, the purple area we talked about, the blue area, this includes Colonial Heights, Petersburg, Hopewell, Claremont, New Kent, Charles City County, West Point, eastern sections of King William, King and Queen, Williamsburg, down to Stony Creek, eastern Dinwiddie County, east of 85, through Greensville County. You're now in this area that we have put in as 12 plus. So that is a substantial increase. So let's just talk about what is going on. I'm going to bring up another graphic here for you. The system that we're talking about is now driving through Dallas. And this is going to pick up moisture. So the models now that this is over a super rich environment in terms of getting data.
Yes.
Has now picked up on the amount of Gulf moisture that could work into this. But it's also done something very interesting. In meteorology, we have different layers of the sky, Jacqueline. You know this quite well. and it's developing something called a deformation zone. You're saying, what is that? Basically, that's an area in the sky that is going to overproduce moisture in an area and give us enhanced snowfall. And unfortunately, that's setting up very close to Richmond, if not southeast. And that's why in that 12 plus area, that's where I'm looking at it to set up. Now, that could shift a little bit either way. I've brought it out of Virginia Beach and Norfolk because there is a potential for some sleet in those areas. So stuff going on there. So there's a lot of questions. All right, let's get to some of the questions.
A lot of people are asking, when is it starting?
Okay, go ahead.
So we're still thinking the timing didn't really change
Correct.
on any of the latest model runs. Still from really 8 to 11 a.m., that's when most of us will start seeing those snow flurries, and it will really start to pick up in the afternoon and the evening hours. And then still it looks to move out pretty early on Thursday, maybe by early to mid-morning, maybe a touch later, but still moving out by Thursday.
Just incredible here. And I'm just, keep talking, Jack. I'm just kind of showing some areas. I'm just going to move things in here.
Yeah,
just
so a lot of the other questions we're getting are based on what area we'll see what accumulation. So again, this goes back, Matt and I were talking about this yesterday. It's important to know where you live on a map.
Correct.
What county you're in, because we can't go through all these comments and tell you exactly what you're going to get at your house, but you could kind of see what county you're in and gauge it off of the ranges we drew for you.
Correct. Yeah. And again, I'll write these in here, you know, and I'll leave maps around here. Somebody asked, is the NAM the main model you look at compared to the GFS, Euro, and CMC? CMC being the Canadian model. The answer is no. We look at everything. We look at the NAM. We look at the HRR. We look at the ARW. We look at the Euro. We look at the GFS. We look at the Icon. We look at, you know, easily a dozen models that we are using this to forecast, right? Now, every model is based on different equations of state. This is all physics and calculus-based stuff, right? So we put data in, and Jackie yesterday talked about the balloon soundings. All of that data plus surface data and more go into these models. They then produce outcomes. Some models are very coarse in nature. The GFS, Euro, the Icon, to allow them to go out farther in time.
That's what we call long-range models, if you ever hear us say that on air.
Right, there you go. Some models are very short range to give us a real good high-resolution look, but they may only go out 18 to 24, 48 hours. So there's different models you can use them at different times. And different models, by the way, are built to handle situations differently. Snow, hurricanes, East Coast cyclogenesis, which is what this is, by the way. East Coast cyclogenesis is the development of a nor'easter. So things like that. I'm just kind of sliding that around so people can see, you know, where they live and what to expect, right? So that is what we are not going to comment on what other people are calling for, ever. It's not professional to do that. So that's the answer to the question that's come up, that such and such is calling for X, Y, and Z. It's not going to happen. Just not going to happen. This is our forecast based on the information we are looking at. I've said this time and time again. Every year I post the same thing on my Facebook page. It's just not fair. We all work really hard at deciphering the data. I don't care who you are. You work really hard at this. You struggled for years to obtain this crazy degree through physics and chemistry and calculus. And you have to apply that knowledge to making forecasts. So, yeah. Continue to pan things around. So, Jackie, I'm just staying on this for a quick second. I think it's just the easiest way because I want people to understand what they're looking at.
And
there.
again, a lot of people are just asking exactly what county will get what sort of accumulations. These will all be posted on social media and also our website. So you could screenshot it and zoom in and see exactly where your county is.
We literally made this and walked in this room to do this to give you the firsthand look as to what's going on. I didn't even get a chance to post this. The only thing I did was I sent it to John Berniers because we've been talking, and I said, the models just went crazy. He said yes. I said, here's the newest, and we walked in here. So that's pretty much where it is, right? So again, when you look at the numbers here, you look at the areas, you can see what we're talking about.
Also, one other important thing to note for anyone that is just tuning in, The legend up there, we did not update because, as Matt said, we literally just put it together, looked over all the new model runs, and then stepped in here. So look at the numbers on the actual
map
screen, not the legend right under the title there.
Right, and I will continue to move it around for you as we're talking here. So
this is a good question. So what are our thoughts on chance of power outages?
Good question.
So we are thinking, I mean, it definitely won't be as widespread as what we've seen last week. We're not expecting, other than really far portions, the southeastern portions of the state, maybe we'll see some of that mixing in, but this is really just a snow event for most of central Virginia. We're going to be cold enough tomorrow in the upper 20s, cold aloft, so really just talking all about snow. And I mean, it's going to be a light, fluffy snow, and hopefully we don't have widespread power outages.
Right.
We shouldn't.
And the winds aren't going to be strong. I mean, we'll have some good breeze, but not like the winds on Sunday. So that's good. But there are some things that are weakened from, excuse me, last week's ice storm. And so you could have some sporadic, but not, right, this is not a heavy, wet snow. This is not going to weigh down the tree limbs and stuff like that. Even if you get 9-10 inches of snow, it's still a light, fluffy snow. So power outages should be minimal, which is good news. And again, I continue just to move things around on the map for you, just so you have an idea of what we're looking at here. And we'll show you some other stuff too. But yeah, pretty interesting. A lot going on. All right, let me see what else we got here. So again, there is, pull up that map for a second here. That's the system we're tracking, the one dropping in Dallas. And the light snow flurries you see in Kentucky and Ohio is just some moisture out ahead of this. That is not going to be a factor for us here. I'm going to get off of the snowfall map, and we'll come back to it so you can see some other things. So let's talk about how much snow have we seen so far this year. We've seen 7.7 inches of snow so far. It has been a relatively snowy season.
Matty D did not cancel snow until 2030.
I tried so hard.
Maybe next year.
It just did not work for me. Now, the average, I think, in Richmond is just about 10 inches for a season. So, obviously, we're going to surpass that if this all comes to fruition. You pulled this up, Jackie. What are we looking at here?
I mean, so the last 2 days, we've been quiet. We haven't seen any weather impacts on the roads, other than actually this morning we did still have a few local small roads closed due to standing water. Of course, we know the James River is still at that moderate flood stage. And tomorrow, this is at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, that's when we're really going to start seeing those snow-covered roads. And it's going to take a little bit for it to accumulate and to actually to get beyond the grounds. But again, at the start of the event, we're expecting really it to all be snow. So I wanted to just pull that up and show you.
Right.
If you can stay home tomorrow.
And again, the start time on this, Jack, in what we were talking about there, because people are still asking that.
Oh, you're asking me? Between like 8 to 11, we're saying.
Okay, yeah. 8 to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning is when we'll start to see the snow developing. So this snapshot here, 9:30, is showing you the snow-covered roads at that time. All right, here's Futurecast. Nice and quiet today. You could start to see the blue developing around 8 o'clock this morning. So this is going to take us through the progression of what's going on here. As we get into the midday hours, notice it's just light blue. This is still light snow at this point. But here comes the kicker. As we get into the afternoon, notice how the blue is increasing. See the deeper blues down to the south. South Hill, Emporia, over to Wakefield, working up toward Petersburg. The pink that you're seeing, that is the potential for sleet to mix in. Notice here at 7 o'clock, it actually started about 4 o'clock, all the way through 7:30. You see the deep blues overhead. This is this extra punch of moisture that could be coming our way, enhancing the snowfall, giving us the new totals that we just ramped up there for you. That is going to hang on for a while into Wednesday night and then slowly push its way to the east. Now, after midnight Wednesday, this is when you start to look to the west. You start to see the snow starting to break up, and it breaks up over us. So we have light snow early on, moderate snow for a long time, possibly 8 hours of moderate snow, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then we go back to light snow and then snow showers into early Thursday morning before this system exits and the sunshine does return. It's not going to be a warm day on either the day of snow tomorrow or Thanksgiving.
day of snow.
The day of snow. I
The
almost
day
said
of snow and
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Wow, that's because I'm really going crazy here. Or Thursday. So just keep that in mind. Again, I'm going to bring up the snowfall amounts one more time for you. And again, we'll let everything kind of sink in here. The newest maps, based on the data that is coming on in, when you look at Metro Richmond, including Ashland, and again, I'm going to slide in here for you.
When you slide in, I want to say a lot of people are also asking.
Yep.
They're just tuning in. So this is the newest update because I think they were going to your page. So
yes.
We have not posted it because we just literally stepped in here to show you, but we will. So that was another question I saw come up.
Yep. So these based on the newest data coming on in. This is what we're looking at, and this there's no numbers here. This is 9 inches to 12 inches across Metro Richmond, and that includes King William, King and Queen County, Western Essex County. You notice there, if we take the pen tool off for a quick second and we kind of slide it there, there's Tappahannock, right? There's Southern Caroline County up to Bowling Green. There's most of Hanover County. There's all of Henrico County, back to Powhatan to 522, most of Amelia County, all of Nottoway County, Blackstone, Western Chesterfield, Western Dinwiddie, west of Interstate 85, over to Victoria, South Hill, Eastern Lunenburg, Eastern Mecklenburg, most of Brunswick County. You're saying, what's that blue? That blue is 12 plus. It's a new area that we have brought in because of this thing that's going to be developing, this potential zone of enhanced precipitation, let's call it. And that's Hopewell, Petersburg, Colonial Heights, Stony Creek, Dinwiddie, Jarrett, Cortland, Emporia, Smithfield, out to Claremont, Charles City County, Eastern New Kent County, actually the eastern 2/3 of New Kent County, over to West Point, Middlesex. There's a lot there, right? Let's go north of Doswell. Let's go north of Bowling Green. Colonial Beach, Quantico, this area here, let me grab a different color tool here. This is 5 inches to 9 inches in this area. And that's Fredericksburg, Bowling Green, Louisa County, Western Goochland, west of 522, east of 522, you're in the 9 to 12. Fluvanna County, Cumberland, Buckingham County, out to Appomattox, just about to Lynchburg, most of Prince Edward County. So again, we're taking it really slow to go through these areas for you to give you an idea of what we're looking at. I know this is a monster change. We don't make monster changes lightly at all. But this new information, quite frankly, is pretty impressive. And you have to start to think, okay, is this truly happening? So, and how are things shaping up here? So, Jackie, let's continue on here. I don't know what is next in our graphic. Oh, it's the 8-day
Okay.
forecast. There we go. We'll go back to that. So we talked about the temperatures. Upper 20s tomorrow, then around 20 into Thursday morning, then only 36 Thursday afternoon, then 16. So once this snow is here, there isn't a lot of
Melting
sun's
time.
energy to melt this.
We'll have maybe a few hours on Thursday.
Right.
So some melting, but I mean, with overnight lows dropping back down into the teens, anything that melts, it could form into black ice. But again, we're not expecting slick, icy conditions across the area, but anything that does melt, that's something to keep in mind.
Okay. I'm going to go back to that because I want to get back to some questions here. Janie Jeffers asks, Matt, on your Facebook post, you said this could be on the lower end of 9 to... So Janie, on my Facebook post, that was referring to the forecast I had this morning of 3 to 5 inches for Richmond, 5 to 7 for Petersburg and Point South. That's what I meant when I said we could get more, that my numbers were way on the low end because of what these changes were. So these are the changes now into effect. So I don't look for these to change much at this point. This is going to be what we have. So that's what we're looking at there. Again, when you're looking at these, just to go through the numbers, look at the colors, look at the cities that we have listed. Purple, 9 to 12. Light blue, down south and east, 12 inches plus. White, 5 to 9. North and west of that, it's 2 to 5 inches. So we have a lot going on here, Jacqueline. Again,
Yes, we do.
it's incredible. It really is.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
A big update change.
A bit, I mean, and it's a lot. So what we have to do is we have to get this out there on our socials. We've got to get things, into a new article, update our webpage and stuff like that. So we have a lot, So we are giving you the latest forecast based on the data that is coming in now. This is a change from the data that we looked at when we walked in at 3 a.m. because data is always coming on in. Again, we're not going to comment on what other stations or meteorologists in the area are calling for. That is what they're doing, and that's okay. It's all good. I don't comment, and I don't understand the argument there. They're seeing something, that's what they're calling for. We're seeing something, that's what we're calling for, right? So you have some questions that you want to answer there, Jack?
And again, someone asked what time around, where is it starting? 8 to really 11 a.m., that's when we're expecting to see the first snow, and then it will start off pretty light, but then pick up as we head into the afternoon. And then another question I saw earlier was, why do we have these updates and all that sort of thing? We have these short-range models, and they come out every hour, most of them. So that's how we get the latest information, and we make our changes based off that. So I thought that was important to note on. But pretty much, other than that, it's just locations, which we will post this map, and you could zoom in and see your exact location, and then you could, do whatever you want with it.
So I think you bring up an interesting point there, right? So when we make these forecasts, like starting off yesterday morning, and then when we hit Weather University, we had an update, and then JB had an update last night, and I had a new one. It's not that the forecast is wrong. We're giving you the latest information based on what the data is showing and our interpretation of that data, right? So, and this is forecasting. It's fluid. It's always changing. Now, once the event begins, we're going to be locked into whatever that forecast was last, which might be this one. JB might slightly change his tonight based on the rest of the 12Z models and the 18Z models that he sees coming in. So those are some important things that, but we're constantly looking at what's coming up. And since those flakes aren't going to start flying here until 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, we do have a full set of models to look at to make and refine the forecast more. And that's what we're doing. We're constantly refining the forecast. So that's how forecasting is done. Like it or not, it's just the nature of the business.
We're not, we can't read
We
minds
can't-
or read
Right.
weather.
We don't
just know how
foretell the future.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? We don't have a direct pipeline to the man upstairs and say, how much you think this time? 9 to 12. All right, we're good, 9 to 12. I mean, that's just not how it works, right? So, yeah. This will be a fluffy snow. This will be a light snow. Power outages should be minimal at best, which is good news. So that's a great question, Jamie Weisner, just answering that question as well.
Someone asked, why is the app showing, it's not our app, why is an app showing 3 inches? Apps, we talked about this yesterday too, usually just based off one specific weather model, and they don't have that human interpretation. So our app, our Storm Tracker 8 app, has that, it basically takes our forecast. It has that human interpretation.
Correct.
But a lot of weather apps, like the weather app on your phone, is the worst, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because,
It's just a straight model output is all it is.
Yeah.
And there's no interpretation of that as well. So just kind of moving things around there for people to see. Again, that purple is 9 to 12. So whether you're in Brandermill or Amelia Courthouse, or down to Nottoway Courthouse or Blackstone or Darville's, McKinney, Alberta, all the way down to White Plains, Brunswick County, South Hill, La Crosse, Kenbridge, Victoria. You go north and west, you go into Henrico, whether it's Highland Springs or Sandston, Short Pump or Sharon Park, Apperson Store to Mechanicsville to Studley. That's the name I'm going to be taking, by the way, Studley. Over to Ashland Mill, Doswell, up to Indian Neck, Rexburg, finally over toward Tatuski, Callio, Farnham. You're all in that purple. You're all in that 9 to 12 inch range. Again, in the white, Fredericksburg, Thornburg, Lady Smith, over to Beaver Dam, Bumpus, Mineral, Louisa, Orange, Culpeper, down to Gordonsville, by the way. Somebody asked about Gordonsville. Over to Sharon Springs, Palmyra, Fork Union, Cartersville, Cumberland County, Western Goochland, west of 522. Fife, you're in that. Dillwyn, this is the white area. This is 5 to 9. Prospect, Farmville, Rice, Green Bay, Keysville. Now, let's go to the other extreme. in the blue, this now takes into account Chester, Colonial Heights, Enon, Petersburg, New Bohemia, Disputata, right down 460 over to Dendron, Waverly, Wakefield, Ivor, south on 95 from Templeton to Carson to Stony Creek. This is all 12 plus in this blue that you're looking at here. Emporia to Adams Groves. And then finally, 64 east out of Roxbury, New Kent, Charles City County, eastern sections of New Kent County, Urbana, Saluda, Irvington, Kilmarnock, Hudgens, Gloucester, Matthews. Again, all based on the newest data that is coming in right now. So that's what we're looking at there.
I saw an interesting question from Jacqueline. Spelt my name, Jacqueline, from yesterday.
Okay.
She said, yesterday you talked about weather balloons. I'm assuming these are happening in every state. Are the forecasts for multiple states or just Virginia? I think that's a great question.
Huh?
So we have National Weather Service offices in every state, and they usually do them twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening hours. But before a big weather event like this, they do them more often. And it's not just across Virginia, it's across every state. So especially ahead of where the storm is now, it's important for what will come our way.
That's exactly right. So where the storm is now, which is in Texas, all of the balloons that are going up in Houston and throughout Louisiana and all that, getting more data. Somebody asked, can we show the hour by hour again? Absolutely. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, clouds are in. Starting to see some light snow developing to the west at 8 a.m., between 8 a.m. and 11, as we've been saying. Whoops, I went the wrong way, Jackie. Sorry.
Maddie D's getting too excited.
I'm getting too excited. Between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., we start to see that snow pick up in intensity. Now, for the first couple of hours, it's going to be just light snow. But because the ground is going to be so cold, it is going to start to accumulate. It's going to start to make the roads slick, too. This is the type of snow, by the way, being fluffy snow, that when you ride over it, you're going to compress all the moisture out and adhere it right to the pavement. So you're not going to get snow-packed or icy roads besides snow that's falling. Just something to keep in mind. Once we get into the afternoon, you're going to see the blue really overtake the region, and we're going to see the deeper blues start to come up. This is now 4 o'clock. We're going to push those deeper blues all the way through us, through your evening time, and into almost midnight before it shifts to the east. So this is that 8-hour window of potentially along I-85, 95, and points to the east of moderate and maybe some localized heavy snow. That finally shifts to the east. Now we're back to light snow. And when we look back to the west, we see the breaks in the snow. We start to transition to snow showers, snow flurries, etc. by early Thursday morning. And I think by midday Thursday, you should see this is clearing and the sunshine makes a return. And that's what brings us back to that snowfall map that we just talked about there. Again, and I'll leave it on the big slide here because we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. But we're talking about many areas in Metro Richmond, 9 to 12 inches. Again, based on what we're looking at now. So this is pretty good. Derek Hazelwood, zoom out to see North Carolina. I really don't make the maps for North Carolina. Sorry, my man. You're going to have to follow one of the stations down there. I really just gobbledygook it once I go south of what we're doing here. So that's what we're looking at. Again, this is based on the lower accumulations. Again, I will state this until I am done with this profession. I will never comment on another organization's forecast. What they're doing, why they're doing, what they're forecasting, that is unprofessional. I would expect the same respect from those meteorologists on our forecast. And I do get it 99% of the time.
Amy has a good question.
Yep.
What are the chances this could still change? Should she hold out hope for no snow, or is it time to prepare?
Go ahead, Jackie.
I think it's time to prepare. I mean, I think it's time to prepare. You have all day today to prepare. The roads should be fine. They might be busy. I mean, the bread and milk aisles may be empty, but
how
it's
much
National
French
Wine
toast
Day.
can you have? Yes, wine.
It's National Wine Day, so everyone go pick up a bottle of wine.
Right.
Maybe you need a few if you don't want to be out the next few days. But, I mean, the accumulation ranges could change a bit, but honestly, at this point, all of our viewing area, we're going to see snow.
We're going to see snow, right.
Yeah.
It's a done deal that we're going to see snow. It's now looking more and more likely that this is potentially, a true major storm, back to kind of what we were looking at in the beginning of the weekend. Then we kind of brought it down based on the data, and the data now has changed back up. So this is what we are watching here. Look, Amy, I'm in your boat, right? This is why I like hundreds and sunshine. You don't have to worry about shoveling it, etc. But yeah, I mean, if Maddie D has put up a map like this with Jacqueline, And we got to be like, yeah, this stuff's happening here. So, Amy, wine, now you're speaking my language.
It is National Wine Day.
There you go.
Anyone that needed an excuse to get wine, there you go.
So, there we go. All right. Get out there, prepare. Take it easy out there. With a forecast like this, once school's closed later today for tomorrow, they won't open again until Monday. So, kids, bring your Chromebooks home because you will be doing some remote learning is what we've heard today. Hanover schools, I think especially. So, that's that story. This is not a model, Jenny. This is a forecast. This is based on the newest models that are coming out right now as we're speaking that we have gotten an early look at between 8:30 and 10:30 this morning before we came on the air. So,
what is the name of our weather app? Storm Tracker 8?
Storm Tracker 8. Yeah. It's in the App Store and Google Play. Yes. So.
Yeah, and it is a live update. Thank you, Bill, for answering that question.
Correct. Very good. All right, Jacqueline, any final thoughts you want to say? You're going to have, of course, a complete update on this on 8 News at 9.
No, I mean, prepare now. It's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. That's really it. And stay safe, and we'll keep you updated.
Stay safe, keep you updated. We'll have updates throughout the day, of course.